The Red Raiders have landed their second portal commitment in the 2024 cycle, this time in Pitt center, Federiko Federiko. In today's video, we'll discuss his skill set, his fit with the Red Raiders, and an updated look at the 2024-2025 Texas Tech men's basketball roster. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And listen, if you're excited about Fede times 2, aka Federiko Federiko, committing to the Scarlet and Black, I just need you to do one thing for me. Like the video. And hey, if you want to stay in the know even more on everything Texas Tech men's basketball on the hardwood or off of it, head on over to the Scarlet and Black Insider, where Austin Massey, Jacob Harris, and myself were actually the first to break the news of Fede committing to the Scarlet and Black. So join one of the fastest growing communities in the Texas Tech media space over on the Scarlet and Black Insider.com. All right, let's get right to it, because let's face it, y'all aren't here for the promo stuff. Y'all are here to know what the hell is going on with this roster. Well, good things in Grant McCaslin's 2024-2025 roster, as Federiko Federiko, a Pitt transfer and a center, a legit one, people, has committed to the Scarlet and Black. He measures out at 6'11", 225. He will have 1 year of eligibility left, and he's an older center. He will be 23 by the time the season tips off for the Red Raiders. He understands spacing offensively really well, but yeah, he can't shoot at all. Let's just call a spade. He's not a shooter at all, but he wreaks havoc on the defensive end with a 7.1% block rate last year for the Pitt Panthers, and he's mobile enough where you feel okay with him out on the perimeter. Do you love the possibility of him guarding a 1? No, but he has the length and the footwork to do it. From that perspective. Also, what was one of the biggest issues for Texas Tech last year that felt like everyone on Twitter or wherever you get your Texas Tech news was complaining about? Rebounding, specifically offensive rebounding. Well, Fede comes in with an 11.7% offensive rebounding rate. For those that don't know, anything above about 9.5%, pretty damn good. All right. The area that I don't think the numbers really justify how good of a player he was, because I probably should have said this earlier in this, but Pitt used him terribly. I mean, he was used in just an awful way last year for Pitt. And I'll get to my thoughts overall in terms of the fit for him with the Red Raiders here in just a second. But the numbers don't do him justice when it comes to the pick and roll game, okay? He was a good screener, and I think he's a better one than the numbers justified. I just don't think Pitt utilized him in the proper way. Now, he showed up as the 64th percentile nationally. Nothing to really, shout about from the rooftops, right? But he thrives slipping a screen and making sure his hands are up high in a good position to go in, make one step, and hammer it home. He's that kind of guy. And now, again, he was one of those dudes that was a little inconsistent for Pitt, much better in ACC play than non-con, because as Jacob Harris reported to us over on the Scarlet and Black Insider last week, he was actually recovering from an injury in the early season for Pitt in 2023-2024. But as for what he did in ACC play, legitimately, he was a top 7 big in the ACC conference. And don't just trust me, trust some of the numbers. And now he's also started 53 games for the Pitt Panthers over the past 2 seasons. So he's an experienced big, an athletic big, and one that I think, could potentially be an instant plug and play type guy at the 5 spot for the Red Raiders. Now, I will say this. I think he is going to drastically improve in the pick and roll that Grant McCaslin loves to run. I mean, it's one of the reasons I love Grant McCaslin as a coach. He understands that the most unguardable play in all of basketball, if run correctly, is the pick and roll. There's no debating that, in my opinion. But I think Fede would thrive in a 20 to 25-minute roll, probably closer to 20, okay? And he would be better alongside another big. And I think Texas Tech is going to go get another big. But this is a really good step for the Red Raiders in the sense of a guy that can come in and really be an impact 5 alongside maybe an Amelialahu, who is his fellow countryman. Both are from Finland. But I really like this pickup, and it's an underrated one. I'm not going to say he's going to be Tariq Owens or anything. Don't hear what I'm not saying. But from a fit perspective within a Grant McCaslin offense, he is going to be much improved and be a guy that I think can average in that 8.5, 9.5 point range and average about 6.5, 7 rebounds per game with maybe a block and a half per game. He's that kind of impact guy at the center position for the Red Raiders. All right, let's talk about the roster as it stands right now, because again, a lot of work to be done, but 2 really good pickups in the portal already for Texas Tech. 3 if you want to include Devin Cambridge. You can see the roster at the bottom of your screen right there. You got Darion Williams, Chance McMillan, the 2 portal transfers from outside of the program or Kevin Overton and Federiko Federiko. You got Kerwin Walton returning. You've got Devin Cambridge, Amelia Lahu. Then you have Jack Francis and Jazz Henderson Jr., who are both walk-ons. As it stands right now, again, they're cooking in the portal right now, are the Red Raiders. Are these, 4 and 5-star impact guys in terms of out of high school? No, but I like going after experienced bigs. I love that aspect. And then from the Kevin Overton side of things, he's a guy that has 3 years of eligibility left. He's 6'5" with a wingspan of 6'7", produced in one of the better mid-major conferences this past year with Drake, and actually made the NCAA tournament, beat your favorite team and everyone's favorite team outside of Texas Tech in the Indiana State Sycamores, right? So both of these guys are experienced and have played in the NCAA tournament, and that is one thing that Grant McCasland and crew identify early. They want guys that are impactful for their respective teams and also have played with winning programs. Both of these guys have done that at a high level. Obviously, Pitt made the tournament not this year, but the year prior. And then you have Drake with Kevin Overton making the tournament in his first year there at Drake and almost beating Washington State, but they did win the Missouri Valley Conference. So in my opinion, these are 2 really, really good pieces that Texas Tech has landed. And the latest one is Fede times 2. Fede squared, I think we might have to call him. But Federiko Federiko, a transfer from Pitt. A guy that, again, I don't think he's going to wow you if you just look at the numbers, people. He's not going to wow you. But if you go look at the tape and really look at how Pitt used him, I think they used him terribly. I think Texas Tech is going to get much more out of him. He's going to be a really good lob threat, a guy that is effective on the boards and is going to be an impact defender down in the paint for the Red Raiders. And Texas Tech is just getting started. I mean, you look at it in terms of who they've got on their roster right now, there is a fundamental really 5-6 guys that you feel really good about going into next year in terms of how proven they have been at a high level in college basketball. Darion Williams, Chance McMillan, Kevin Overton, Fede times 2, Kerwin Walton, Devin Cambridge. That's a solid 6. Now, obviously, there's some holes you need to go out and address in terms of the transfer portal, but you look at that. You've got Amelia Lahu, Cambridge, Walton, Fede times 2, Overton, McMillan, and Williams. That is 7 scholarship players. You now have 6 remaining if you're Texas Tech. There's a lot of work to be done, but Texas Tech is in a very, very good spot as it stands right now. But the breaking news into Texas Tech athletics is Fede squared. Federiko Federiko has committed to the Scarlet and Black after transferring from the Pitt Panthers. The Red Raiders have a legit 5 on their roster right now. Before we head out of here, do 3 things for me. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans here on YouTube. There's no other Texas Tech YouTube channel giving you instant reaction to everything going on with the Red Raiders. There's just not. So join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube today by simply hitting that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell.